Hi everyone, this is Sandra and welcome to the Cherry Heart podcast. This is episode 46 and I'm coming to you from Bedfordshire in the UK, and we've got quite a nice sunny day today, a little bit cooler than it's been but still nice. And I haven't podcasted for a while, so I feel a bit rusty and out of practice. And also I'm podcasting on my new phone. I got a new iPhone the other day, one of the plus ones, so it's bigger, but it's sort of meant that my video setup has all changed. You can kind of fit loads more in the screen normally, so I've had to sort of bring it in closer, and yes, I feel all discombobulated because I haven't done it for ages, and now the setup's all different and it all kind of throws you off. Everything looks different on the screen. It's weird. Anyway, let's soldier on and try and get this podcast out, shall we? You can find me around the internet as Cherry Heart, and I'm on Instagram as Sandra Cherry HRT. You can find the show notes for this podcast with more pictures of everything I show you, and any links or anything that you might need will be there, and they're on my blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk. and I'll pop the link below. I think that's all. Oh, I don't always say, but there is a Ravelry group as well. Cherry Heart's Cozy Corner. You can search the group tab on Ravelry and join us there if you would like to. Yeah, so how have you been? It feels like a long time since I've done one of these. It feels like quite a long time since I've done anything actually. I've kind of been coasting lately. I think coming back from the holiday and sort of feeling kind of relaxed, and then we had the long weekend, the bank holiday weekend here, and the sun was out and it was glorious weather, and it's kind of revived my holiday mode again, and I've kind of not really been my usual cracking on with things self. I've kind of just been drifting along and kind of, I don't know what I've been doing really. A lot of sewing, as you will see. But yeah, just sort of bumbling along doing other things really. But never mind. Anyway, where do I normally begin? I normally begin by showing you the things I've done, don't I? So let's see what I've got to show you that I have done. I think we're going to need some sock blockers, aren't we? Let's get these ones. Right, I did show you this last time. Last time I podcasted with my yarn friend, Dear Miss Sam of Betsy Makes, and I think I showed you these because they were almost done then. Let's pop this on here so it looks vaguely decent. These are my California Love socks because I started them when I went on holiday. Yeah, so that's it really. They're just basically one of my vanilla sock variations, one of my usual things I do. So it's cuff down, 2x2 cuff, which is sort of my go-to cuff. This isn't a self-striping yarn, this was a collection of minis that I got from the lovely Erin of Holland Handmade. It was her Valentine's set and I threw an extra couple in. This one wasn't in it originally, and I think this one, but the solid colours were. Yeah, so just plain, and I've just changed colours every so often to get the striped. I put a short row heel in. I would normally use a Fish Lips Kiss heel, but I'm trying out something different at the moment because I want to write up kind of my vanilla sock pattern, and I quite often use a short row heel if I'm doing stripy or self-striping yarns. So I wanted a short row heel that I could put in the pattern. Obviously, as I normally use Fish Lips Kiss, I'm having to test a few out to see what I could add to the pattern. I'm going to put a few other bits in the pattern as well. I'll come to that later actually, because I'm working on this at the moment. This is turned into pips as well as things I've done, and I've just done my usual sort of gathered in toe, and I'm going to call this a swirl toe. It's very like the whirlwind toe, but that's done top up, and this is cuff down, so that's how you do it, cuff down. So that's that one. So that's finished. What else have I finished? Oh yes, I know. Got quite a lot on the old desk today, so I'm trying not to knock things. This I have finished. Now I think I just started a little tiny bit of this when we spoke last. A little tiny bit of this border. This is the Wisteria Trellis. Oh, I cannot say anything today. Oh, this is the Wisteria Trellis shawl. It's from the Crochet Project shawl book. Oh, I don't know. I think I've put it away now. I'll put it down here. I had all the information before. It's from one of their shawl books anyway. I think it's by Joanne's Grace, this particular pattern. Yeah, so I made this using Sam's yarn, Betsy Makes yarn. It's her Little Smile base, and the colourways were Misty Morning for this beautiful soft silvery grey, and Sunset for the lovely peachy colour. So I did have, well, not problems with this shawl, let's not say that exactly, but I did go a bit off-piste with it, and I don't think I should have done. Everything looks darker on this screen. I hope it comes out all right. I may have to do some adjusting in post-production. Yeah, so what happened was I took this on holiday, started the border because that's how you begin. Didn't get very far with it, but anyway, merrily came back and worked away on it, got quite far and thought, this is looking ever so long, this border piece. So I had a look and I didn't have gauge. Mine is looser than the pattern says it should be. And I'd got quite far by this time, so I thought, oh well, it's only a shawl, it doesn't particularly matter. I'll just miss out a few repeats if I need to, if it's getting way too long. And it will all be fine, it won't matter. So I did that. And I thought, you know, once I got to a length, I thought, yeah, I really don't want it any longer than this. But I just wanted to make sure, because you add this bit on afterwards, that I had the right number of repeats so this would work out. So I did all the sort of maths for it. That was fine. I found it was one stitch out, to be honest. Where it tells you to start, I found was slightly out. Maybe that's just me missing something, I don't know, but it was only one sort of slot out. Where you start was one out, so anyway, I got a repeat of the border that worked. I missed out some repeats. I started on the different slot of this that I thought it should be, and that seemed to work out for me, so I don't know. Yeah, so that was all fine and everything worked, and I've done this lovely middle bit. This is kind of my favourite bit actually, is the middle bit. I love the texture of it. It was really nice to crochet up, nice and relaxing, and it feels amazing in this yarn. Really amazing. Yeah, but because I'd shortened the length, I haven't, and the length of the border, and this bit in the middle goes back and forth, I haven't gone back and forth as many times as it says in the pattern, because obviously I haven't had so much length to cover, which has meant that my middle bit is sort of a bit, it doesn't look in proportion to me. See, this should be higher really. If I'd done the border the length it should have been, I would have had more rows on here, and this would have made this section a bit wider. I've got the door open today because it's nice and sunny, but of course that means we have disruptive dogs. I'll pause a minute and wait for them to be quiet. Right, where were we before we were so rudely interrupted? Yeah, so I hope you're sort of following what I mean. So this bit would have been taller, and I think it would have looked more in proportion. And also, if I had got gauge on this, I think the border is too wide. for the sort of body, in my opinion. And of course I've made that worse by making this bit shorter than it would be, and because my gauge is off on this, my gauge is bigger, this is wider than it would be. So it's all my own fault, really. So as a consequence, I like it because I love the colours and the yarn feels amazing. But I kind of don't love it because I feel like this border has come up. It just looks too big to me. It kind of just doesn't look in proportion. So I kind of want to do it all again on a different hook. But I kind of can't face doing it all again. The border is kind of what's putting me off, I've got to say. It's not a complicated pattern at all. The stitches are very simple. It's just the repeat doesn't particularly... It didn't particularly stay in my head. I didn't find it particularly intuitive of what you were doing on each row. I got better towards the end, but there was still a bit where I kept sort of having to think, what am I doing here? So now I know where I've sort of all gone wrong, and how it's turned out. Now I can see how it's turned out. I kind of know what I'd want to do to fix it. But of course that would mean unravelling the whole thing and starting again. And I can't really be bothered. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm going to wear it as it is. So what's the point of me making it and having it in this gorgeous lovely yarn in these lovely colours if I'm not going to wear it? That's dumb, isn't it? So I need to, maybe just if I give it a bit of time, maybe I could sort of come around to the fact of doing it again. Do you know what else I kind of don't love about it as well? Is the way that the ends, I would prefer it to end in a point. I know, that's just me, just being a bit daft, but when it sort of hangs down, it just hangs and just ends. I don't know. I'm probably being over fussy, would you say? Yeah, I guess. Let's put it back. Okay, so those are the things I have done. Oh, actually, complete lie. Other things I have done is sewing things. So I've been on a bit of a sewing kick, and I've been making these bags, project bags. So this was the first one I made. It's got this cute little buzzy bee on it. I had these hexagons. I'm going to show you the other side, but it's actually got a bit of a mark on it. I don't know how that got there. Let's see if it shows up on camera. Probably does a bit in there. How did that get there? Yeah, so I had these little hexagons. I started these as a little bit of English paper piecing ages ago, last year I think. And I was going to make them into a project bag actually. I don't know quite what the plan was. But yeah, anyway, I did a little bit more and I sort of applied them to this bag like this, and I had enough to do a little motif on the other side, and I thought I'd have a little buzzy bee. Got a little bit of thread there, can you see? Buzzing around with a buzzy bee. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cute. And I've got my little bee progress keeper that I got from Betsy Makes as well on there. And I didn't have any fabric that was suitable to sort of make the little tie, so I just sort of did ribbon and I put a bead on, because I find the ribbons do tend to disappear if you're not careful. So yeah, so I'm going to show you the inside as well. Let me take everything out for a moment. Try not to make knitting needle sounds everywhere. Bit dusty. And this is the inside. Do you know, I've got deja vu like crazy. Did I show you this last time? I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, so I've done, this is an old bit of vintage fabric that I had. I think it's a bit of pillowcase. And this bit is just plain, but I've also done some pockets in there. So I've got some pockets with a nice check colour. I've really gone multicolour on the inside. and I've used this same sort of red flowery material. So I've got a long pocket on this side that I can fit my little bit of pattern paper in, like so. And then on this side I've got some smaller ones, which I find the old phone fits into quite nicely. I brought my old one up to compare, because I'm sure this new screen is definitely darker than my old screen, which I'm not that pleased about. I think the forward-facing camera, like the back-facing camera even, is like loads better, but the forward-facing one seems a bit different. I'm sure it's better, but it seems darker to me. Anyway, stop going on about it, get over it. Yeah, so I made that, so that was fun. And that made me think, I want to make another one of those. So I'm just putting everything back in, because I've got knitting needles and they'll only clatter and make noise and annoy you if they're left. See? Like that. It's exciting, isn't it? Exciting podcasting viewing. Yeah, so I made that one. So then I found this bark cloth. I thought, well, that would make a nice bag. So I'm going to fold this one up so you can kind of see. So I've done a little bit of decorative stuff on here. Little tab and a little bit of embroidery there, which was kind of a complete waste of time, because by the time you sort of have the bag open and as it's sitting, it's a bit low down really. But you know, you live and learn, don't you? But yeah, I really like this one. I love this aqua colour with this. Love it. And I just did one pocket on this one, so I kept the inside neutral, and I've just done a little bit of extra material and just did the two smaller pockets on this one. And I didn't do anything on the other side. Just trying out different things really, just to see how it worked, what it was like. So that's good. So once I got like the size that I was happy with, I thought I'd try a few more. So I wanted to talk to you about the Dodgy Bag Make-Along. So this is a make-along that's been run by Ali of Little Drops of Wonderful, who is Starry Eyes Ali on Instagram, and also by the lovely Claudia of Crochet Luna, who I met while I was on holiday, who is Crochet Luna on Instagram also. And they are doing a Dodgy Bag Make-Along, which is basically about making a project bag, and then you can enter it into the giveaway for the prizes and so on. But the reason Dodgy Bag is because whenever Ali makes bags, which she kind of makes up for herself and for gifts and things, she always says that her sewing isn't very good and that her bags are a bit dodgy. But I have an Ali Little Drops of Wonderful dodgy bag, and it's not dodgy at all. It's perfect and gorgeous, and I love it and treasure it. But yeah, it's just a great name. So the name has always stuck, and she always refers to them as her dodgy bags. So I made another couple because I wanted to join the make-along. So I've made some dodgy bags of my own. So the first one is this one. Which I did make. This one's a little bit more simple, so I've just got a plain inside, but I quite like the fabrics on this one. I've also, sticking to the dodgy bag ethos of with Ali, she's making hers out of fabric. I think she was gifted it, but it's not stuff that she's gone out and bought. It's stuff that she's sort of using up, so she just sort of uses up different pieces and makes different bags each time. Someone just started sawing. We might need to close. We'll see how it goes. So this is very much the same sort of thing. This fabric I actually got with a magazine, but it's a really nice fabric. Yeah, I'm going to go and close that door quick in case that's loud for you. Yeah, and this fabric is from a shirt. It's from one of Husband's shirts. And this grey on the inside, so I had to line that because it was quite thin obviously. but this one is nice and thick, so they've come out really nice. They kind of hold the shape well, which I like. And this grey fabric was what left over from when I covered husband's notice board when he took over my craft room in the house. And then this bit and this bit I had in stash. Well, this is actually from some curtains that I had, IKEA curtains. So there you go, it's all nice recycled stuff, apart from the tie, which was a fabric I purchased. So that's my first dodgy bag for the Dodgy Bag Make Along, and this is my second dodgy bag. So this one is slightly less recycled, I think. Well, I don't know. No, this was recycled. I got this material from something else. Can't remember what. This is another of husband's shirts inside, the lining fabric. This is more of the curtain fabric, but this one is bought. This is a Cath Kidston fabric actually, which is really pretty. I love it. And the ties as well. And I've put on both of these the little, just a little tag. I think they need a little something. Yeah, kind of cute, kind of like them. So yeah, so I made those both together at the same time just to sort of see how long it would take me, because those other ones with the pockets and everything took quite a long time. But of course now I'm getting the hang of the pattern, it's coming up a bit quicker. So those are all my things that I have done. As you can see, a little bit sewing obsessed lately with the dodgy bag thing. Yeah, I kind of think I will have to give some away, because how many project bags can one person have? But on the other hand, I kind of make them and think, oh, I quite like how that one's turned out, maybe I keep that one on all of them. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Right, so that's what I've done. Let me show you what I'm doing. I'll quickly show you, oh actually you can't really see anything. I'm going to show you something you can't see. I'm just going to show you I've started another dodgy bag. When I went to Edinburgh with Sam, we got all these sort of tartan scraps to make a bag with, and she made hers ages ago, obviously, because she's not a complete idiot like me. And she's probably been using it and enjoying it. Yeah, but I'm only just getting round to making mine because I'm slow. But yeah, I'm using up my scraps of tartan to make a tartan dodgy bag. So I've got loads to enter in the make along, which is kind of cool. I've got some bits cut out for some more as well. Obsessed. But it's nice to be sewing again. I haven't sewed for ages really, much. I've sort of just been too busy doing other things, crocheting things and, you know, patterns and commissions and whatnot. So yes, it's quite nice to get back to the sewing machine again. So what else am I doing? Socks. So this continues on from what I was saying about my California love socks earlier. And I'm trying out more sort of little ideas, more variations that I use for, there's kind of certain go-to things that I do on my socks, and I thought I might pop them in a pattern, because I'm always sort of saying, oh, I do this like I normally do, and I sort of sometimes get questions about like how I do the toe or how I do my heel or what have you. So I thought I might just sort of pop all that kind of information down in one pattern so it was all in one place. And I thought it might be useful. And then when I say I've just followed my vanilla pattern, then you'll know, oh yes, we know what she's talking about now. Instead of going, that means nothing to us because we don't know what you do, girl. Yes, anyway, I am making another pair of socks, and this is with this lovely, lovely yarn, which is a hand dyed by Kate yarn. Focus on the yarn. Whoa, the new setup is very wobbly. Okay, apparently we can't focus that close, we can only focus about there. Hope you can see how pretty this is. Looks better there, doesn't it? I'll just show it to you there. I love this yarn. Can you see the little tiny speckles in it? It's kind of got little pinky and bluey speckles. It's so cute. I got this from Yarndale. I should tell you what the colourway is, shouldn't I, actually? Let's see, I've got a little bit in the middle. Windswept. So, it's a merino nylon sock. Sock yarn, 425 metres for 100 grams. It's superwash merino. There's hand dyed by Kate, that's her logo. And this is the sock I am making. So it's just a very simple sort of rib pattern. I'm doing a 1x1 cuff on this one, and I'm going to do a heel flap on this one to sort of show how I do my heel flaps. So I'm kind of going to have a short row variation and a heel flap variation. It's going to be like a kind of, do you remember those books? Choose Your Own Adventure books. I don't know if they had them everywhere or if they were called the same thing, but here in the UK they were called Choose Your Own Adventure, and you would read the beginning of the book and then it would sort of say, you know, if you want Alice to go to the lighthouse, go to page 42. If you think Alice should stay home and do her homework, go to page 23, you know, and it would give you at various points in the book, it would give you a choice, and then you could choose how the book went, you see, choose your own adventure. So it's kind of like that. So it'll be like you could do a 1x1 cuff or a 2x2 cuff or whatever, and then go to, and I'm going to give you a choice of patterns for the legs. So just very simple things, sort of vanilla, absolutely plain if you want to do striping, but maybe just something with a little bit of pattern. And then you can choose what heel you want to do, and then you can carry on with the foot, and then you can choose what toe you want to do. So there's sort of element, you can choose which elements you put into the sock, a kind of mix and match sock idea. That's my plan. Oh, sorry. There we go. I'm just going to show you my, well, how lovely the yarn looks knit up. See, it looks so pretty. I kind of think of this as like dirty sprinkles, kind of lovely little sprinkly bits in amongst sort of brownie, all the brownie flecks. I love it. And I was also just going to show you my little stitch marker, which is new, that I got from Claytive Designs. She's on Etsy, and that's her Instagram name too. Cute. She does the cutest little stitch markers. I think she does so you can put different things on, so you can have them, you know, you can choose what top you've got. So I guess you could have them as stitch markers or progress keepers, or I think she uses them for like like on bullet journals, on journals, when you can kind of like clip them on to the little Filofax things and things like that, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, cute. So that's that one that I have in progress. And then my other thing in progress is in my lovely bag from Crochet Luna, my Californian Poppies bag. And this one, this should be called Gauge and Tension. This is a little stitch marker that came with it. And this is the yarn that I'm using for this project. It's the Gauge and Tension Fiasco episode. So I am making a cardigan. Let us show you what I have so far. Okay. I did mention that I wanted to make this. I think it's called the Breath of Air cardigan. I've got the pattern here, but I don't generally bother to print out the first page. So it's by Ditsy Pips. She's put a Facebook page here, facebook.com/DitsyPips. But yeah, I'm sure it's called a Breath of Air cardigan. I'll put it down here if I'm wrong, if I'm just making that up. Yeah, but I seem to have all kinds of problems with this. Now it says the tension for this, or the gauge for this rather, 10 centimetres equals 6 V-stitches, 9 V-stitch rows. So I merrily did that, got tension, happy, happy. With it's a 6mm crochet hook as well, and it's a 4-ply yarn that you use, and a 6mm crochet hook. That's like a really big hook for that yarn. So I was a bit dubious, but I did it and I got gauge. Thought fine. And then I realised I've been doing the V-stitch wrong. It's actually half treble V-stitches, not treble V-stitches. Or if in the US, that's half double instead of double V-stitches. So then I did another gauge swatch and was miles off. And I thought, I'm going to have to go up loads of hook size to get that. Oh no, that's right, I wasn't too far off that, but I would have had to go up more, but I didn't kind of really want to. So then I was sort of just thinking, well, maybe I'll make a different size then. So I was checking the sizes. But then she says, the unblocked cardigan, this bit, the sort of height of it, measures approximately 50 centimetres. But if you look at sort of the pattern, that means the gauge she's given isn't the blocked gauge, that's the unblocked gauge. And all the sizes she's given, judging by, you know, what it's saying, the number of rows you work in the pattern, they're all unblocked sizes. So if you're making all your size, but you're making all the unblocked size, when you block it, what size do you end up with? I was really confused by this. I don't know if it's just me being dense and I'm missing something obvious, because if I am, please fill me in below, because this has been confusing me for some time. So do you just kind of make a smaller size and hope you guess that it's going to block out to the right size, because you don't know what the blocked size is going to be, do you? Do you make a bit with the gauge she says? But I mean, if I've got to make an unblocked gauge, which is 6 V-stitches into 10 centimetres, I'll be on like about size 20 hook or something. Well, maybe not quite, but still, like huge. And I'm already thinking that 6mm is huge for 4-ply yarn. So in conclusion, I kind of just went with what I thought, and I'm kind of making it up as I go along. So I'm sticking to the 6mm hook, and it did come up smaller, obviously. So I've blocked it to sort of see if I could get an okay length, and I think it's going to be okay. I also changed the pattern for this end bit, because the pattern that she said, I couldn't get it, the gauge of that and the gauge of this, to match at all. Blocked, unblocked anyhow, so I don't know. Maybe it's me just having a complete nightmare with this, I don't know. I know Chrissy made this pattern and she seemed to whiz through it with no problem, so it's probably just me. I don't know. But yeah, I seem to be having an extraordinary amount of problems, but as such I've kind of just gone off-piste and I'm going to do my own thing. So I've got the main bit, and now I've got to, there's like a collar bit that goes down here that I've got to finish, and then there's sleeves, which you can choose if you have longer or shorter sleeves, so I've got to fit those in and get those sorted out. So yeah, I think it's going to be okay. I quite like what I've got. I'm kind of wishing I made it a bit bigger. There's kind of like the height of it is a standard thing, so that's the same no matter which size you're making. But to be honest, I kind of just wished I'd tacked a few more stitches on the end. But I think it'll be alright. I think it'll be alright. This is why I hate making garments, because it's an awful lot of effort, and then if it doesn't come out, it's upsetting. Anyway, yeah, so I've kind of put that off for now, because I'm a little bit wary of sort of starting the next bit, because I'm thinking it looks okay at the moment and I don't want to do the next bit and then that's the bit that messes it up. So it has kind of put me off, I must admit. That and the fact that I'm massively feeling like only doing really, really mindless things at the moment, and anything with any thinking whatsoever I can't be doing with. Because part of my reason for following a pattern was so that I didn't have to think about it, and now that I'm kind of going off piste with it, I am thinking about it, so I kind of am not always in the mood to do anything about that. Yeah. But anyway, on the mindless front, I thought I'd just give you a little update on my Battenberg blanket, which is getting really huge and heavy now. I've been adding to this, and of course this is ultimate mindless, fabulously mindless crochet. So I've done all my little coloured squares, and I'm just doing the white squares now and joining them as I go. Which, by the way, I've got a tutorial for. So I'll link to it in the show notes. That's probably the easiest thing, isn't it? But I've just come up with a new way of joining as you go. Because it's a solid square, obviously I haven't got the spaces to join with, and I didn't like the version where you loop it round each time. That was far too tedious and long for my liking. So yeah, I've come up with another method of joining them. So I've just got a little tutorial to show you how I'm doing those if you are interested. Yeah, but all I do is just lay out a few colourful squares. So I lay out the blanket, arrange a few squares in the colour I like, take a little photo with my phone, pile up the squares into columns. So I've got each column, and then just work my way through each pile of squares, just adding them on. So all I do is manufacture loads of white squares, and I don't have to think about it at all, and I love it. So let's see, how on earth am I going to show you this? I should probably have to put a picture in. So last time we spoke, I was probably about here. So I've done this amount all the way along. Let's show you this way. This is going to be easy. Let's go back. Here it is. Can you see that? Yeah, so last time I'd sort of got to about this, about 10 squares, strip 10 squares, and now I've sort of added the next strip 10 squares. So this was half this size before, like that, but the maximum width it's going to be, and now I've added a bit more to it. And then I think I've just got one more strip of 10 squares to add, and then it'll be finished, and I don't want it to end. I want to just have this available to make all the time, because it just makes me so happy. Makes me so happy making this. Yeah, I don't know why, I can't explain it, but I just get into the rhythm of it and seeing all the little squares. So I don't have to think about it because I've already done my little arranging, and then just seeing them sit, and they always, I don't know. You can't seem to go very wrong when you're putting the squares together. Most of them just seem to work, so it doesn't take much effort or thought, and you're not agonising over colours. It just seems to come together quite nicely, and then when you sew them on you go, oh yeah, that's nice next to that. And then you put the next one in, like, oh that's nice too, and you get to see all the pretty yarns and remember what you used them on, or where you got them from, or who you swapped them with. And I've gushed about this, probably enough. I've gushed about it before on this podcast, but I can't get enough of it. I just love it. And the name Battenberg is because of the alternate squares. So in the UK you can get a cake and you get just 4 squares like this, and there's pink squares and yellow squares, so when you cut into it that's what you see, and it's got like a marzipan around the edge. I think it's just a British thing, I don't know if they have it everywhere in the world, but it just reminded me of those cakes. So it's a Battenberg blanket. A very, very happy Battenberg blanket. Make one. I recommend it. Get some of your yarn scraps and just sit there and it's like crochet meditation or something. It's just get in the zone and manufacture your little squares and little happy factory. I I love it. Okay, stop now, stop talking. What do we do now? Normally I do pips, but I kind of haven't done anything. I've got socks outstanding, I've got a Garters Ahoy shawl outstanding. But I'm almost ready to go and I just need to get on with it. So yeah, but I haven't done anything, so no news there. I'm doing my vanilla socky choose your own adventure pattern. Kind of been working on that, so that'll be coming, but not yet. Oh, and the other thing I was going to tell you is, you will know about this already if you read the blog, but I'll just tell you here as well, in case you don't, is that my Vintage Sweethearts blanket is now, the pattern for that is now online. So this was the one that was the crochet along last year and into this year with Crochet Now magazine. So it's been serialised across the year in all the issues. And so that serialisation has finished now, so the crochet along is all finished. So I was able to release the digital pattern online. So that's the whole thing all together in one big file. And I've also translated it into US terms, so if you're in America and you prefer to work from US terms, you can download the US version. Yeah, but it's all up and accessible wherever you are, because I know some people, yes, loads of people, just some people did sort of say to me that they would have quite liked to, but the magazine's harder to get hold of because it is a UK publication, so you know, you don't necessarily see it if you're somewhere else in the world, and you can get digital subscriptions, but even that's not always easy, and some people prefer the magazine. So now you can buy it online and have it all together, so you don't have to wait for all the different bits to come out. So I thought I would attempt to show you it. That's my point of waving this around. Let's see how it looks on the screen. So hard to show blankets, isn't it? There we go, just fill the entire screen with crochet knits. So it's a whole sort of mix and match of sort of vintagey, retro-y loveliness, hopefully. So there's some simpler patterns in there, there's some slightly more complicated ones. And so the story behind it, just quickly, if you haven't heard, is takes me back to my childhood really. And just thinking of the blankets. One of my nans particularly was always knitting. Like the whole of my life that I ever knew her, she was either knitting or crocheting, mostly knitting. And she had this one blanket in particular that sticks with me, and it was a knitted one actually, but it's exactly what we do now, in that it was a happy scrappy blanket, just all her leftover bits. Every time she had some, she'd make up a square and put it on the side, and eventually she had enough, she sewed them all together and she had this huge blanket, and I just played and played and played with that blanket. I just always remember wrapping myself up in it and building dens in it and having it when we had the sleepovers there and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's kind of that. And you know, she would always have something on the go. She'd have various crocheted ones that she'd made and things. And my other nan also could knit and crochet, although she didn't do it half so much. My mum can knit and crochet, and you know, obviously it was my nan that taught me when I learnt again. And it's sort of about those knitting ladies, I suppose predominantly ladies anyway, in our lives that have kind of passed it on to us now, you know. It's threatened to die out for a while, didn't it? And it sort of disappeared, and then now it's obviously coming back, and that's fantastic. But this is just my little tribute to all those ladies that sat knitting and crocheting and passed their skills on to us. So all the different squares have a different name, some of which have meaning to me from the ladies in my family, and some don't. Because there aren't that many knitting nanas that I had. But just some of them do have quite a bit of meaning for me. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of invoke that sort of those ladies when they were younger, you know, when they were our age, or well, younger than that even. Yeah, it's just about that really. She trailed off uselessly. Yes, so well done, knitting nanas, when you were young sweethearts. This blanket is for you. And that was it, I think, because I don't think I've got any incoming goodies that I can think of. I got my little stitch markers that I showed you. I got a couple of others as well. I'll pop a picture in actually if you want to see, because that's the only incoming goodies I have. I've got some incoming goodies coming, but they haven't arrived yet. So we will leave it there for today, I think, and I will see you next time. I hope you have a lovely time wherever you are and find some nice crochet and knitting time. And I hope you subscribe if you've enjoyed it. And I think that's all I have to say, isn't it? Oh yeah, and I'm popping the little bit of vlog-y video at the end. It's been a lovely weekend and we did lots of fantastic things, great vlog-worthy things that I could have taken video of and popped at the end, but did I? No, I completely forgot all about it and didn't even think, because I'm a idiot. But I have got a couple of little bits, so I'll smush them together and I'll stick them on the end for you, just to show that sun does come to the UK occasionally. Yay! Anyway, yes, enjoy your crafting time and I will see you next time. Okay, bye!